Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. Monday, October the 8th, the year 2018. Let's talk trading. Perfecting your game. I believe last week sometime, or maybe it was the week before, I talked about what's in your wallet. And it's funny how it just seems like whenever I bring up a topic, then the next thing I know, I'm getting two or three emails from various sources that relate to my topic. No, I'm not talking about traders who watch my video. I'm just talking about other authors just doing their thing. And this one guy sent an email talking about Coach Wooten of the UCLA Bruins in years gone by and Coach Vince Lombardi of the Green Bay Packers. And, he said back then, that was way before the internet and instant replay, I believe. And they didn't have the technology really to do much scouting of the other teams. Some teams would try and send spies, but these guys didn't do any of that. All they did was perfect their own game. So, in Vince Lombardi, it was, had Jim Taylor in the backfield, and they just kept running those same plays off tackle, off guard, and just pretty much just wore out the other team. And Coach Wooten, he used to just do full court press, basically wore out the other team. So what's that got to do with trading? Well, you got to perfect your game in trading. And there's so many forums out there and so many people trying to sell you the latest, greatest indicator, the slope indicator, the divergence indicator, you name it. They got an indicator that will make you millions of dollars if you just send them, $499 or whatever they're asking, join this lifetime course. And if you act now, we'll also send in throw in a box of Ginsu knives. I mean, the marketing is just unbelievable. And that's why I don't do that game. I do my game. And I learned that kind of the hard way after getting kicked off of a bunch of different trading forums. And those of you who've known me over the past decade or so know how many forums I've been booted off of. It was because I wasn't playing my game. I got involved in their game. They would tell me why my systems don't work and why my indicators don't work and what's wrong with this and what's wrong with that. And I would argue with them. Well, it took me too long to realize that, you know what? There's maybe, a handful or so of people booing, but there's, a lot more cheering. And why should I worry about these few people booing? And so that's why I just do what I do now. Somebody wants to say, why the buy zone doesn't work, or why, the wick zones or this or that, or the holo, or whatever. It's just like, well, you know what? Thank you for your opinion. My systems aren't for everybody, but if there's something that you find useful, feel free to use it and apply it and hopefully make some pips off of it. So that's what you got to do with your game. Just figure out what your game is. Don't worry about what other people are doing or saying. If they've got different results or better results, just keep focusing on your game. Now, if after a while your game isn't working, that's when you might start to make, minor corrections or major alterations. But in the meantime, just focus on your game and perfect it. It's as I mentioned in yesterday's video, I was saying, when you enter that trade, are you looking for perfect execution from the entry through the managing, through the exit of the trade, or that you do everything according to your plan? Or are you more worried about whether or not you made pips? So, that being said, if you're employing your stop loss properly, sometimes you're going to lose. That's just the nature of the market. But it's within your money and risk management. And if your method has a positive expectation, then you are going to come out ahead of the game. And let's take a look here. We can see we're still in that candle body of the previous month's candle, but we're only 5 pips off the low, 291 pips off the current monthly high. So you can see we're definitely going back the other way. And on the weekly, look at that. I think yesterday this one hadn't filled the gap, but hey, if you were late to the party, you had one opportunity and it paid off. Now, the weekly wick zone people, you traders, right now you're 105 pips to the good. What could be simpler? I mean, really. It gapped up, so you already had your bias going. It entered the zone, exited the zone. You could still be riding this trade right now. Or you could have punched out at, 100 pips and called it good for the week, right? But just one simple trade. Now there's going to be somebody that says blah 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 hindsight. It's like, no, we were in this trade from the very beginning. We know about these gap fills. We know about the wick zone. We know about horizontal lines. We do this every day. And here we go on the daily chart. You can see here the daily. We have exploded through that lower wick zone once again. We went into the upper, we exited, so there we had the short going on, right? Because actually here, oh, wait a minute, that was on the weekly, right here. You see we gapped up on the weekly. And right there, there's the close, there's the open, right? So you can see, once again, we gapped up, but we went into the upper wick zone, so we could have shorted right here at 131.12 and be up 155 pips on that trade. And looking here at the range, 174 beats the 108, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 over 100 in range. And we've got the beast clocking in at 201 and the new beast, the pound New Zealand, at 227. So I don't know if anybody else calls it the new beast, so if not, that's mine. I made that up. And here we go once again, the pivot to cover that pivot. You can see here it was a short, and then we got another short here. No, there was no, anybody who entered here, there was no even close to hitting the stop, or if you entered here, you got paid off big time. Rat zone, right now we're looking at a green rat trade. We definitely have the range 173, and I would look for it to probably get back to this level sometime, 130.46. Why? Because of this big bar. And once again, we've got that weekly pivot that's going to need to be closed out. We're at the weekly S2. We blew right through S1, came back and tested it, and that's the S2, weekly S1, daily S2, daily S3. So you can see here, we just about hit the weekly S2. Maybe it's time for a reversal. But trade what you see. Once again, missed pivots. We've got a 57, but we're about 100 pips, 99 pips away from that one. We're 246 away, so there's still a lot of room that's going to have to be made up to take out those pivots. We got a 3-ball at the bottom, so you know what to do next. We're going to look for green at the line. Got a half hour to wait here if you're using the H1, but you can see that 1 ball right at the line, and the rest was history. Same here with the previous 5 lines. The rest was history. And you can see here some of the monthly close open over the month. You can see we've got some nice, just trading that monthly open, get on the right side, especially if you were in the new beast here, pound New Zealand, 615 pips. And the month is what? Yeah, what, 6? Well, it's the 8th, so we've had what, 6 trading days? I mean, that's 100 pips a day. Once again, the wick zone, in and out, in and out. We've got a holo set up right here, a long trigger at 65, 129.65. And whether or not it makes it this hour or puts in a new one, we'll just have to wait and see. Inventory reduction bars right there. There was a nice short. Actually, there's a short here and a short there. As you can see, we've established some new long triggers, but we haven't hit them yet. Previous daily, weekly, monthly, open, high, low. Once again, I told you yesterday, I like trading these lines. And there's your previous day, previous week's low. Boom, out of that zone. There was a previous day's open. Once again, a short there paid off. And right now you can see where you haven't moved, but maybe 4 pips on this last buying. And right now we're below that peak. So we've got selling going on based on a simple formula. And you can see here we poked through on the Einstein lines. Once again, maybe just getting a pip or 2. And you can see here a Larry live trade. It's moving to the upside. That yesterday, that was really interesting. What was it? 650 ticks to the good there on the buy side in a row. That was a lot of ticks. So, fellow traders, that's it. Just kind of remember as you're trading this week to focus on your method, your trade, and don't worry about the others. Perfect what's, what you have in your toolbox. Learn those tools, use those tools, perfect your trading, overcome all those mental hiccups, all those things that you shouldn't do, stop doing them. All those things that you should do, make sure you're doing them, because in the end, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So let's drain the banks.